and welcome to Dojo Live this Friday, November 15th, 2024. An unusual show day for us, but it's a great way to wrap up the week, especially because we have a very exciting show today that is the recap of the Hospitality Show 2024, bringing together some incredible insights and reflections on the future of hospitality. I'm thrilled to introduce our guest. All righty, there we go. Josh Graham, Head of Market Development for North America at Cloudbeds. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Kim, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you, thank you. Also, Scott Pusillo, VP and Head of Sales and Account Management for North America. Long title there, Scott at Sabre Hospitality. Hey, Scott.
Hey, good morning, Kim.
All right, we about to take up the whole show, getting your name out there. Just kidding. Course, Shridhar Padmanabhan, VP of Sales at Encora. Hey, Shridhar.
Hey, Kim. Thanks for having me. Great to meet you.
Hey.
Scott, Josh. Yeah.
Perfect. You know, we're all here to share some of the latest solutions, trends, key takeaways from the hospitality show. Thank you again for joining us. To get started, if each of you could kind of briefly introduce yourselves, the company, of course, that you're representing, and share a bit about you, what you focused on or showcased at the show. We can start with you, Scott, please.
Sure, happy to kick it off, Kim. So good morning, Scott Pusillo. As Kim mentioned, I lead our commercial teams across North America for Sabre Hospitality. In their efforts and our customers' efforts in growing, retaining, and elevating their business. Sabre Hospitality is the company behind Synexus, which is the industry-leading global hospitality commerce and distribution platform. And our technology includes hospitality systems that optimize distribution and operations, retailing, and the guest experience for hoteliers around the world. At the Hospitality Show, we focused a lot on showcasing the Synexus retailing platform. And that's a system that we've built and created that enables hoteliers to move beyond selling just a guest room and into the ability to merchandise experiences and goods and policies and more. And by offering those types of additional ancillaries and add-ons, hoteliers are now able to achieve higher booking conversions. They are able to grow greater guest satisfaction and increase their revenue and truly differentiate themselves from their competitors.
I love it. I do remember that from your pop-up interview at the show. You said something about to think outside of the room, which really stuck with me because of the classic think outside of the box, think outside of the room. I think it's very fitting. Thank you again for being here, Scott. Josh, what was Cloudbeds focused on at the show?
So at Cloudbeds, one of the things we've been focused on this year is what we think of as rewriting the rules of what it means to be a PMS, right? And so at Cloudbeds, we've moved beyond a traditional PMS role and offering more than just operations and finance functionality, but on-platform capabilities in the area of distribution, marketing, revenue, intelligence, and guest experience, while also creating a large marketplace of integrated vendors that we're partners with, and to bring in best-of-breed functionality when it's needed.
Thank you. Amazing. And a bit about yourself?
Oh, yeah. So been in the hospitality industry for about 30 years, 10 years on the operations end of the business, both branded and independent hotels. And then the last 17 years on the technology side of things. Currently head of market development for North America, as you mentioned, and primarily charged with getting out there and spreading the good word of Cloudbeds across all the land.
I love it. You started working when you were like 11 or what?
You flatter me, Kim, but like many people, hospitality was an unplanned detour while I was in college, and I ended up making a career out of it.
I love it. And last but certainly not least, Shridhar, if you could share a bit about your experience and what Encora was focusing on at the show, please.
Yeah, I think at the hospitality show, first of all, great to meet you, Scott and Josh, and very, very exciting to see so many newer kind of companies coming up, and we're all living in the, Gen 1, in the, hype mode of Gen AI, so to speak, right? So kind of companies that are coming up, the technologies and the capabilities that are scaling Very exciting to see both on the Cloudbed side as well as on on the Sabre side. The two sides of what people are bringing to this particular industry right now. So great to be here. I've been working with companies like yours for quite a while, and I'm very, very excited to hear what you have to say. Thanks, Kim.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you. You mentioned sort of being on the cusp of Gen AI and other things. I think that's also something I remember from your pop-up interview, Scott, this idea of thinking of AI being an apple, taking little bites for kind of at that first bite. But it makes me think of something that I personally really enjoyed at the show, the hospitality show. I think this is show number 2. And this year we had the HT&G Tech Ovation Awards. They certainly highlighted a lot of innovations across a wide variety of areas, AI, of course, being one of them, guest experience, and the real-time water monitoring, who was the winner, H2O Connected. Congratulations. But this makes me think, these companies were evaluated on 2 things primarily. That was impact and innovation. So I'm curious as to, first, what you guys would define impact and innovation as, and then, of course, how Sabre, Cloudbeds, and Encora are sort of hitting onto those things in the industry. So, Josh, want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. So at Cloudbeds, our motto is more reservations, happier guests. And so when I think about impact and innovation, it's always going to be in the service of helping hoteliers of all sizes meet those goals, right? So when you look at any bit of operation software, typically there's 3 main areas that you focus on: power, flexibility, and ease of use. And unfortunately, historically, hoteliers have really had 2 bad choices to make, right? On the one hand, you've got legacy tech providers, which have power and flexibility, but then are weighed down by horrible UI, legacy tech debt, all of those things we're very familiar with. And on the other hand, you've had more modern all-in-ones that are cloud native, have great UIs for ease of use, but often lack mission critical functionality and the ecosystem of integrations that so many properties require. Right. And so more often than not, midsize and larger hotels, have been choosing legacy providers, even though that's coming at the expense of having to source, purchase, install, and maintain a massive, often more than 30 vendor tech stack. And because you've got this big tech stack, you've got hoteliers that are dealing with data that lives in silos. So efficiency and decision-making really suffer. And then you have to buy more tech just to stitch it all together. And also having to deal with really heavy training burdens in an environment where staffing is just hard and turnover is high, right? So there should be a third way. And that's where, I mentioned Cloudbeds, our mission to rewrite the rules is really innovating a high impact hybrid approach, right? So a cloud native system that's built with a focus on user experience that goes beyond that traditional PMS offering of just operations and finance, but has, as I mentioned, distribution, marketing, revenue, intelligence, guest experience, and still has masterfully built integrations, because not all integrations are created equally, unfortunately, to that wide, ecosystem of best in breed partners that hoteliers often do need the functionality of.
Great. Scott, what do you have to say? And I think in both conjunction to what Josh kind of shared with us in terms of his definitions of impact, innovation, your own.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Josh hit on a lot of really good bits there, but I think I'll zoom back out a little bit, because impact and innovation are absolutely about pushing the boundaries, but I also think it's about consistency, right? So when I think about impact, I think of it as reaching the largest possible audience group to deliver the highest value benefits to them. When we think about this Nexus platform in our CRS, right, we have one code base for all customers, regardless of the hotel or the chain. It's one code base, enterprise down to the smallest independent hotel. And we tend to focus and invest into ideas and concepts, features and functionality that benefit most, if not all, of the customers using that platform. So our entire customer base. And that impact is huge for us because everyone benefits from community improvements. And similarly, when I think about innovation, I like to think of innovation in its most simplistic terms, doing things differently, more efficiently, and with a greater impact for our customers. And in order to do that, something that Josh mentioned as well, you require a modern technology stack. And so a big ability of, or a big driver of our ability to innovate at speed has been our accelerated cloud migration. We have seen a much faster path to develop and ideate new features and functionality to elevate the hospitality technology landscape ever since we migrated to Google Cloud in 2022. And that has paid dividends to our user base and our customers who are able to take advantage of that single code development that we do and scale it for their business.
Nice. I'm hearing cloud, cloud, cloud. Not quite surprised. Shridhar, impact, innovation. What's that to you? And let's.
So thanks, Kim. Appreciate it. I think Scott, in some ways, I can see that in your traditional retail manufacturing companies, you have an SAP and an Oracle, and serves as a system-wide ERP that serves both your customers as well as your suppliers and your property. I mean, in the hospitality equivalent, you're talking about the CRS and the PMS to manage various things and to track how and where things are going, right? And the innovations in Sabre Hospitality, especially in the last few years, have been nothing short of fantastic, right? I mean, you had the Oracle PMS on one side and Amadeus coming up with various things, people building up their own stuff, and then here comes Sabre with all of your, these brand new capabilities for the future, right? Which is great. And I think my question is a little bit for Josh in the sense that Cloudbeds has all of these components. At the same time, there are other components that play. So when you go to market, is it that the smaller brands or the hospitality management groups, or where do you find the most resonance right now? Or, is it the brands? Is it the hospitality management group? Is it the smaller chains? Maybe all, but I just wanted to have your take on where this is playing well, Josh. Mute. Sorry.
I promised myself I wouldn't make that mistake. So we didn't set out to build, a system for small hotels. We set out to build an all-in-one that works for everyone, right? But when we first came to market, we realized that the greatest demand was in smaller hotels because they don't have the time, the talent pool, the treasure to build these large tech stacks. And so we developed a product there. As we started growing, what we realized was that we were addressing core needs of hotels, right? And that the functionality pieces can be, whether they're on our platform or outside, you can bring those in. So our goal is to, on our platform, have on functionality that's on platform that works for a broad number of hotels. Maybe not every hotel, but then the hotels that need more specific functionality can then bring in partnerships. And one of the things that we're very clear about is because we take partnerships seriously, we are open to partnerships that even a year ago might not have been something you would consider. So let's just take a look at channel management. We are one of the only PMS systems that has a fully integrated channel manager on our platform, right? We also have an integration with SiteMinder because there are hotels for whom that long tail of distribution that SiteMinder brings is just absolutely critical to their success. And whether that's partnerships in the CRS space as well, this is, again, we can be better for our users if we approach partnerships with an open mind.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Very interesting.
Now that you're mentioning, I think, partnerships, thank you, because this makes a really great segue into my next question. Because it's all about other ideas or tech or conversations that you were having at the show. What might be some of the most exciting technologies, trends that you encountered? Some of these game changers, things that got you really excited. Scott, if you could kind of maybe kick us off there.
Sure. It's going to sound like taking the easy way out, but I promise you it's not, because it's truly, I think, in being introduced into every product and every company that's out there. And so I think the two most interesting and the most prevalent things that I saw at the hospitality show this year were AI, and that's not the easy way out, and then also payments. So let's stick with AI to start with. AI is a hot topic, right? It's not a fad. It's here to stay. But as a hospitality industry, what's the right way to lean into it? And I think that's a moment of inflection or reflection that every company needs to have, because advanced technologies, and particularly generative AI, they are transforming the guest experience and the guest interactions by enabling really highly personalized experiences for travelers. Yet many hotels struggle with the complexity of implementing this kind of an innovation, right? We are not technologists. We're people who love to serve and provide hospitality experiences. But travelers are increasingly demanding these frictionless experiences, right? Whether it's personalized offers or instant customer service, or even just related to value for the money that they're going to pay. And all of this is pushing the boundaries of what constitutes an exceptional travel experience as we move into the future. AI is going to play a pivotal role in delivering on these high expectations, because they are going to enable a personalized travel experience at scale. And that is crucial for the growth of our industry and the travel ecosystem in total. The other one I mentioned real quickly is payments. I don't think there is any other tech out there that is more in demand globally than the ability to offer and facilitate and handle a diversity of payment options. At Sabre, we've been focused on this need in the industry by building a scalable and globally available platform that'll handle all kinds of alternative payment methods. And we're pleased to be rolling that out early in 2025.
And in all kinds of currencies, I imagine. Very relevant in travel.
Cross-border currencies is important. Different types of wallets that need to be enabled. Payments and AI are truly where I think a lot of the development effort of our industry should be focused on in the years ahead.
Thank you. What got you excited, Josh?
Well, Kim, I swear that Scott and I did not prepare these answers in advance, and I'm wondering if we had some sort of a mind meld before, because my answers are going to very closely mirror payments, and there'll be something about AI. So when it comes to payments, totally agree with Scott here. At Cloudbeds, Cloudbeds payments is one of our fastest growing areas. It makes a real difference. We offer the Google Wallet, Apple Wallet, Affirm, which is a buy now, pay later platform. It is a complicated space, the global banking and the rules and regulations that go along with it. And so when you talk about solving core issues for hoteliers who certainly are no experts in, global financial regulation, it's absolutely critical that companies like Scott's and mine bring those solutions to hoteliers. On AI, I'm actually going to talk about AI, but perhaps a slightly contrarian view, in that I was actually most excited by what I didn't see, which was an overabundance of AI washing. There absolutely is some going on out there, but I was just really happy that a lot of what I saw actually seemed to make sense. And look, I won't speak for anybody else, but I will say that here at Cloudbeds, we will never build AI for AI's sake, right? If it's not actionable, insightful, and efficient, we're not doing it, right? And so our approach, we recently unveiled Cloudbeds Intelligence, is to build an AI and machine learning layer into the platform, where it's designed to really supercharge all of the functionalities within it. Because what we care most about is using AI to break down departmental silos and increase efficiency so that everybody benefits. So in our world, we're very focused on something called causal AI, as well as multimodal AI, which are not as necessarily well known as generative AI, which is getting all the big hype over the last year and a half. But in rich data environments, like the one that exists in Cloudbeds, where we have that full scope of information about properties and everything that's going on there. And in addition, also do a lot of the marketing for these hotels as well. We're able to leverage causal and multimodal to do some really exciting things and give hoteliers a lot of time back in their day. So that's what we're excited about.
Can I add into that, Kim? Because I think Josh raises a good point there. And I met with a hotel company, a very large hotel company, that said the direction from their C-suite was to get an AI product because AI is what all the rage is. And it was interesting to me because that's just trying to solve for the moment, right? And I'll talk about this, maybe later when we focus on the future and our brick houses. But is that really what you need in the business? Or do you need to create efficiency, to what Josh said, right? If you're trying to create staff efficiency, there's tools that use AI and machine learning to help accomplish that. And so I think as everybody is on the AI train, right? How many of us go in and try to rewrite emails using ChatGPT? Think about what you're trying to accomplish, and then find an AI tool through a partner you trust to achieve the goal, as opposed to just saying, I need to have AI in my business.
Hey, Scott, sounds like that hotelier just wanted ay.
Yeah, I love it because it's this do away with keeping up with the Joneses and say, I'm not a Jones, I'm a Johnson. Mm-hmm. What does the Johnson need?
Yeah.
Or want? Right. I love it. Shridhar, I know that you had the opportunity to walk around, meet a lot of different people, stop by a lot of different booths while at the show. What was some of your take or on these game changers or trends that you were seeing? What got you excited?
First of all, I think that for a year 2 show, I think the hospitality show was stunning, right? If somebody who was visiting for the first time had been told this was a year 2 show, they would be like, doesn't look like it, right? Very, very well organized attendance wise, as well as the people on the floor. Also, I'm looking at it because having been to the high-tech GBTA and hospitality show, getting ready for, I'm not going to focus right, but be at HTF starting Monday. I just feel like I totally resonate with you, Josh. I'd still have to look up what the causal AI and the multimodal AI means. I don't know that, but I've made a note. But I was also glad that there was not too much of the AI thing going on. But on the other hand, I feel that the set of what the market is throwing up in terms of opportunities for perhaps not the big brands, but everybody else below that to take advantage. And Josh, to echo your sentiment, to give time back to hotelier, I think is just exploding out there, Kim. That's my view, right? Some of these things will become bigger companies. Some of them might even be acquired by a company like a Sabre, because it fits in very well. Like Sabre acquired, Amy Reed's company a few years ago to fold it into and start doing incremental selling for the properties. So with that, Kim, if you don't mind, I have a short question for Scott.
Sure.
Hopefully. So Scott, as obviously, Oracle has its big Opera property management system. Sabre innovated very rapidly, not just responding to what Amadeus was doing, but also in terms of rolling out a completely different, CRS with its own use cases and relevance for the marketplace. Now with the, PMS as well. As, to the extent that you can share, I mean, where else in the feature roadmap is Sabre kind of spreading out to, or is it spreading out in components of the CRS and PMS and things like that? What are you looking at what the market wants, and where are you trying to head toward?
Yeah.
Public information.
So I can share with you what's public because
Yes.
We are a publicly traded company. So I can't get into too much of what we're innovating for, but it's super exciting and I think the industry will love it. And actually, to that point, we aren't trying to give the industry what they want, right? We have the foresight of seeing what the industry needs or where the travel ecosystem is going, and developing solutions in advance for that. If you think of the Apple example, right? Nobody knew that they wanted an Apple Watch until all of a sudden it was there because Apple had the foresight to see that we needed that connectivity on our wrist, right? And so that's a lot of what we're looking towards. How do we change the industry? How do we set the industry up for future success through what we know and our experience and our super innovative team? Where our biggest product focuses are right now, retailing and merchandising, like I've talked about, the payment space, and to the point I just mentioned, integrating AI in an efficient way to help hoteliers be more efficient as opposed to just having some AI example.
Nice.
Thank you.
We've touched on a big P word a little here, that's personalization. Then we touched on another big P word, payments. And then another big P word, which is partnerships. And I think, Shridhar's question leans into one of the final questions for today, the fourth P word, predictions, which Scott kind of touched on a bit here. But what are your predictions for the future of hospitality, kind of based off of what you saw at the show or just what you're seeing in general? Are there specific advancements, shifts that you believe will define the industry in the this next year? 2025 is right on the brink, maybe, but looking 5 years out. Shridhar, you want to start us off, or Josh?
No. Please go to them. I mean, they are
all right.
closer to the
Josh,
market than I am.
what's your big P? Your predictions?
So what I'm really excited about is the structural and organizational realignment that I'm seeing in so many hotel companies that are bringing together sales, marketing, and revenue under a single commercial umbrella, right? And industry organizations like AHLA and HSMAI are also really involved in this. And I think it's critical because for years, hospitality tech has provided solutions for symptoms, not the underlying problems, right? And a fragmented and siloed buyer market has made this a lot easier. I mean, Scott, your example of the we need AI. Is there a SKU for AI? Can I buy some AI, please? Right. And so, look, at the end of the day, tech will continue to solve for symptoms, not underlying problems, unless hoteliers demand more. Right. And, so as the buyers and users of hospitality technology start to align under that commercial umbrella, I think they're going to demand that their technology do the same. Right. And so platforms that democratize data, that demolish silos and drive efficiency will then rise to the top, as long as they don't try to recreate the walled garden approach, right, that people have tried and failed in the past, and take integrations as the beginning of partnerships, not the end of that. So that's a little broad, but that's really kind of where I see and hope to see things continue to go.
All right.
Well, I love that, Josh. I also sit on the board of directors for HSMAI, which is one of the largest commercial organizations in our industry. And that is a huge focus for us as an organization, which is pushing into this. We break down silos. It's not revenue management, sales, and marketing and distribution. It is a true commercial focus. So I thank you for sharing that, Josh, because I think it's super important. I'll kind of take that and I'll carry it a step further, maybe speak a little bit about the way that Sabre Hospitality views what Josh just said, in that breaking down silos in the commercial structure, because we are definitely seeing a trend that shopping and searching for your accommodations takes longer now, given this abundance of choice that exists. And on the positive side, that means more chance to tell your story and to differentiate. But there's also this requirement that your content be pushed out everywhere in the format that's appropriate for that channel. And so in line with that trend and trying to create commercial leaders, like Josh just mentioned, we see this addition of buying non-room components, experiences that are not directly tied to having to book a guest room, as something that is truly the success measurement for our industry in the future. Sabre had the foresight to see this trend coming many years ago, and so we embarked down this path of developing what we call Synexus retailing. And so beyond just the distribution piece, we built a recommendation engine, which actually uses AI and machine learning in the background, and leverages these predictive analytics to suggest targeted offers or other things that you can buy. If you buy the beach cabana, do you also want to buy branded and monogrammed pool towels to be in that cabana with you, right? So all of these, this connected trip, this entire concept of the full travel experience. And then in terms of the commercial focus that Josh mentioned, all of this focus on merchandising and retailing means that the industry needs to up its focus on TrevPAR, which is total revenue per available room, and also RevPAG, which is revenue per available guest. And really, when we have commercial leaders and business leaders and owners that shift their understanding of those metrics, the total potential of someone's experience and the revenue capture that you can get out of travelers is going to completely change the way that the hospitality industry is viewed and valued.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, if you don't mind, if we can stick around for just about 2-3 minutes, a bit past the half hour that we had on schedule, because I wanted to kind of touch back to the heart of hospitality, the heart of the show. You know, for me, the opening ceremony that first day was incredibly powerful, particularly with the GM Awards celebrating, you know, I saw these themes all throughout, which was resilience, humanity, agility, because a lot of those GMs were trying to keep their hotels up and alive and help the communities around them during terrible times. We also heard from Mitch Patel about the importance of building what he called a brick house to weather inevitable challenges in what he called a cyclical industry, which we are. So when you consider your own company's foundations or kind of your own personal experiences, what would you say is your brick house, and how might you advise others in the industry to focus on building that? Yeah, Josh, I know it's a kind of philosophical, maybe tricky question, but
Well, as someone who's been at Cloudbeds for 3.5 months, let me definitely speak about the foundations of Cloudbeds. So I will do my best. And I think, you know, look, when one of the reasons I joined Cloudbeds was because I was incredibly excited by how differentiated the approach that Adam and Richard took when they built the system. So, you know, if you talk about Cloudbeds as brick house, it's it. And Shridhar, this ties back into your question earlier. We didn't set out just to build a product that fit a particular niche of the industry or solve for a particular use case, right? And we see a lot of hospitality tech, some of which is very smart stuff, right? But it's built for this one specific purpose, right? And so at Cloudbeds, our purpose was to build an all-in-one that could serve anyone by solving the fundamental challenges that every hotelier has, right? Regardless of the size of the hotel. So, you know, you think about our guiding principles: more reservations, happier guests. 10-room, you know, posada or 1,000-room convention center property. Still need more of both of those things. And so, you know, to sum it up, you know, having that flexibility in your tech stack, in your approach, then allows you to be agile. And so, although we started off providing this all-in-one solution for small hotels, as we evolved by, you know, adding the right on-platform functionality and then opening up this broad ecosystem of partners, you know, we're truly, I think, able to speak to a broader audience. We're not the PMS that's the stumbling block in terms of connectivity to other systems. You know, we're not the PMS that takes a really long time to learn how to log in and check in a guest. And I think that flexibility really is our brick house.
all right, Scott.
Our brick house is the strength of our core, so the CRS, right? And that we reaffirm day in and day out that we both listen to what the industry wants and steers the industry towards what they need. And so that must mean Synexus must always be extremely good at centrally managing ARI, at distributing content, and also with connecting to a myriad of industry partners. And something that Josh mentioned earlier about all of the options that are out there for hotels to choose the system that works for them. We must remain committed to enabling almost infinite choice for hoteliers, whether they want this PMS or that PMS or an RMS or a CRM, really any system. And to back that up, we have more than 1,000 industry-leading connectivity choices that hotels can pick and choose what works best for them, and that list keeps growing. Philosophically, when I think about brick houses and what folks in the industry should focus on, it really comes back to that core that I spoke about, and focusing on your core. Avoid getting sucked into the hype of the moment, AI, right? Think about solutions that have staying power, that are durable, and that have a greater long-term need to solve something in the industry, right? And then when you find that and you create that solution and it gets great, double down on it and do it extremely well. And it is those durable, long-term focused companies on solving an issue that has staying power. Those are the companies that truly excel and do great in this industry.
Hey, Scott, I thought we were all supposed to be making reservations on the blockchain using Bitcoin and
Right.
decentralized Web3, right? No?
Exactly. Blockchain, we all had to figure out blockchain, and that's gone. So focus on, don't get caught up in the hype. Focus on your
100%.
core and do it really well.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you both, Josh, Scott, Shridhar, for joining us today on Dojo Live to talk about your companies, Sabre Hospitality, Cloudbeds, and Encora, and of course, the Hospitality Show. Scott, real quick before we go, how might people get a hold of you if they'd like to reach out to you personally or know more about Synexus and everything else you've got going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So the company is Sabre Hospitality, and you can find us at sabrehospitality.com. That's SABRE. And then you can also find us on LinkedIn, finding Sabre Hospitality, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well. I'll be happy to connect with you.
Amazing. Josh?
Cloudbeds.com. And Shridhar, if you want to learn a little bit more about causal AI and the use cases we're building around it, just add a /AI on the end of it. Right. You'll see a lot of stuff from our recent Passport user conference. And if you're on LinkedIn, just search #CloudbedCurious. If you are indeed, and you can find myself on there. Look forward to connecting with everyone.
Thank you.